Vele'achoso habetula v'gomer, and to his sister, the virgin, and so forth. He's allowed, the Kohen Gadol is allowed to become tummy for her burial. Zohar Chelik Aleph Vayikra Daf Kuf Yud Beis Sof Amud Aleph Al Pasuk V'gam Amna Chosi Basavihi, on the verse, and also it's truthful that she's my sister, the daughter of my father. Avram Hayam Mistabik Go Mehem Nusa, and Avraham cleaved to the Emunah of Amar Achosi, and he said, my sister, the Lo Nitfarish La'almin, that they'll not be separated forever. V'simanach, and the simon for this is Vele'achoso abetula, that for his sister, the virgin, that it says about the Kohen, Asra the Avraham Sharia Bey, that's the place where Avraham dwelt. Adkan Lashono. Ein Parshas Emor Daf Peites Amud Aleph B'Perush Ramaz Sham. The Indian and the concept is Diniksi V'gam Amna Chosi Basavihi Chulu, that it says that it's truthful that she's my sister, the daughter of my father. Parshas Vayikra V'sham Daf Kuf Yud Beis Amud Aleph V'Zelashono Valda Avraham Karala Tadira Chosi, and for this reason Avraham always called her his sister. Begin distabik bahada, that he cleaved to her, Velois Adun Da Min Da La'almin Chulu, and they did not separate from each other forever, and so forth. So the darg of Sarah and the darg of Avraham are united. And the Biurei Zohar explains that this is because you have this unity of Abba and Ima, of Chochma and Bina, that never separates. Kinikraim Trein Rein La Misfarshin, that they're called the two friends who do not separate. V'ayin mizeh be'etz chaim sof shara klolim loshen ksav yad kodesh hariz al atzmo. That even though you have this unity of Zera Azah Nukva to give birth to Neshamos, that's compared to the unity of a man and a woman, so to speak, who tosefes or chadashu bebichinas pnimis. It's a concept, that's a concept of a new light and an inner light, rather than the constant yichud of Abba of Enima. V'ayin b'hakdamas ha'Prietz Chaim l'Morenu harav Nelson Shpira l'Maranash. Mikol makom yishmayla gam ken b'yichud lo psik la'almin. Nonetheless, there's a concept, there's a greatness to the concept of a unity, a yichud that never stops. Shual derech ani havaya lo shanisi, that it's similar to the idea of I am Hashem and I haven't changed. Mutza mayim asher lo yuchazvu meimav, a source of water whose water never falters, never stops flowing. Masha'ein kain bezivug hanifsak leprakim, which is not the case when you have a unity that stops at certain times. Look what it's brought about, this idea of I haven't changed, concerning the idea of truth, and also the concept of they won't falter, they won't be false, like Naharos and Mechazvin. And look, what you also is explained more about these concepts of these two yichudim, the pnimis and the tadir. And this is the idea of that when you talk about a yichud that's constant, you say achosi, my sister, or my attached one. Lashon achva, language of attachment, in unity forever. Like a brother and a sister, shechiburan b'tevatol dasan, that their natural attachment is natural. V'yefshar she'nifsak, and you can never stop it. Mash'ein can be ish v'isha, which is not the case with a man and a woman. she'ein chiburan betoldasan, that their attachment is not by nature, l'chein lefamim nifsak, therefore at times it stops. And that's why we have this request in Shir HaShirim, who will give you like a brother to me, meaning to say that the attachment should be natural. That is to say that in the time to come that Zan Nukva should be elevated to the level of Abba and Ima, to be like these two friends, as is known that on that day it will be Torah. And that's why it says if you don't have flour, you don't have Torah, im ein Torah in kemach, and if you don't have Torah, you don't have flour. Kemach zeu mazon, that the flour refers to sustenance. Fu inyan hashpasa chayus lahachios ha'olmos, and that's the concept of the flow of life force to enliven worlds, that the Torah enlivens the worlds, kinyan lechem apanim, like the concept of the bread, the showbread in the Beis Hamikdash, that this is its concept, the concept of sustenance, which is the divine flow of life for the worlds. Parshas Truma, Kufnun Gimel, V'Torah, Zeu Amshachas HaPnimius, Shekirvanu Lifnei Har Sinai. And Torah, that's the idea of drawing down the inner concept that Hashem brought us in front of Mount Sinai. You have to have both concepts. So you have the Kemach is the Yichud Chitzoni, the constant Yichud, whereas Torah is a deeper Yichud that not everybody has. Only B'nai Israel, that's a more concept of like a wedding day of a Ish and Isha, of a Tzarech Lios Beza Bechinos, and you have to have both concepts. V'gam ki biyom chasunaso ze matan Torah, and also because you have this idea of on the day of his wedding, that refers to the giving of the Torah. Imkein zeovad yichud apnimi. If so, that's certainly the idea of the inner yichud. And look what it says about the idea of if there's no flour or sustenance, there's no Torah. In the Mamar about the 5 acquisitions, concerning the heavens and the earth are one kinyan. And this is what it says: anybody who marries the daughter of his sister and so forth, so that even with the unity of a husband and wife, of a man and a woman, you'll have also the greatness of family, of the unity that never stops, and that's when you marry your first cousin, your sister's daughter. Which is the concept of a sister to me, a brother to me. And therefore on this it says, you'll call and I will answer, since there's no changes and there you have a constant unity. So it's in comparison to in the relationship of Hashem. So if it's like you're in a relationship where you're always attached, and therefore anytime you call, you'll get answered. Parshas Shmos Tav Gimel Amud Aleph Pasuk 18 Levanon Kala. Look in Zohar about come with me from Lebanon, my bride. Dikara de Tarvehon mi Lebanon Kaasyon. That the root of both of them comes from Lebanon. B'mikdash Melech Mishashor Shneim Miyuchad B'Taklis HaYichud B'Chochmei Law. What does this mean? They're coming from Lebanon, that the Lebanon, that the source of both of them, the Kala and the Chassan, are drawn from the complete unity of the supernal wisdom of Chochmei Law, Hainu Miti Pas Abba Besod Vav Daled Milu Yud, the Shem Havaya, which is the concept of the drop of Abba, so this is the idea of the Vav and the Dalet, of the Miloy of Yud, of the name of Hashem, that you have the Yud and the Vav Daled having a Yichud, so you have the masculine and the feminine within one concept and within one source, the Yud and the Vav and the Daled V'ayin mashikos inyan v'avdala b'milo yud b'bir al pasuk v'ata yigdal na v'al pi amayim d'machatzis ha'shekel b'dibur ha'maschil azinu shamayim. So look in those places about the milo of avdalat of the yud. So it says in the Mamar of Hazinu Hashemayim Nisbar Perish Levanon Shu Bechinas Ha'ayin Shmimenu Timsa Chachma, that the concept of Lebanon, which is this idea of the knot from which comes the wisdom, Humisham Shoresh Neshama, and that's where the Neshama comes from the Ayin of Chachma. V'zeu v'nozlim in Lebanon, and that's why it says that they drip from Lebanon. Perish nozlim. What does it mean? Nozlim hainu mazle, that to drip means is like the mazel of the neshama. The neshama is much higher than the body, and it so to speak drips downwards in below. Al derech mazle chazi, which is like the idea of that the mazel saw, even if the neshama in the body doesn't see, the mazel of the neshama still sees and drips the thoughts of tshuva and so forth into the neshama in the body. That this idea is rooted in this idea of Levanon, of the ayin before chachma, and therefore it's called my sister on this level, because the source of chachma and bina are the two mazalos of Notzer and Naka within Arich, and therefore they're united in one level. So they're like brother and sister. They have a unity that never stops within the two mazalos. Nozlim Levanon. V'hini al pi chasidus achosi shu b'tava hainu mitzad ha'ava hativis shelamayla ma'aseichel. Now, according to the way Chassidus describes this, it's a concept of the natural love that's beyond intellect, so like it's brought an explanation of the pasuk in Shir Hashirim, open for me, my sister, my love, that what is this description of my sister? That this refers to the natural love, like a brother and sister. That's natural to the soul. From its birthplace, comparable to the love of a brother and a sister. That their love is natural just from their birth. That they are coming from a source and root. The same source and root. However, the idea of my loved ones, or this is not just from nature, but this is through purification of the animalistic soul. This, which is the concept of working at it, which is a language of working leather. To change its nature from a tough leather to a soft, and so forth. Through contemplation, or Parshas Vayigash b'dibur ha'maschil Vayilakhet Yosef, and look what's brought in Torah or concerning how Yosef gathered that in the service of Hashem you'll find two levels of love, and so forth. Nonetheless, it's explained in another place that the main descent of the God, divine soul, is that through the purification of the animalistic soul, it becomes a journeyer, someone who travels. Like it's brought in the Mamar, and I will make you one of the travelers. And in the Mamar that I am black and beautiful, that through the descent it becomes like a kala, meaning I guess not like an achos, but like a kala, like a bride, that you have to have a yichud pnimi. Specifically through that relationship, that you have this unity, this drawing down of the drop from the supernal wisdom, which is Torah, which is not the case before, when it's just one of the daughters of Jerusalem. If so, from this is understood, if so, it's understood that there's a greatness to this concept of the relationship with a woman on the relationship of a sister, even if the relationship with a sister is natural and by nature and constant. The relationship with a woman that you draw down from Chochmei Law is a higher relationship, has a greatness over it. And like we brought before, that there's a greatness to the idea of the unity of Zon Nukva to give birth to new neshamos chadashos. B'yeser says harbe al yichud atmidi detrein rein chulu, which with a much greater strength on the constant unity of the two friends and so forth, of Chachma and Bina, with the yichud chitzoni. Elishi yeshkamkin maili seira ben yanach va'achos. However, there's also this greatness of the relationship of a brother and a sister, that they don't have changes, like we brought before. It's the idea of Ani Hashem lo shanisi. I am Hashem and I haven't changed.